All right, let's talk Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, who, hey, they win another game here. I did not think this was a great performance from Aaron Rodgers. There was some good stuff, and we'll talk about the good stuff. Ultimately, he didn't have a lot of work in this game, right? Only 23 attempts, so I think that was a big part of it, and a lot of it was just the offense was kind of running itself. He's brought in to be a game manager, and for the most part, he's doing that. Like, this play right here, just going to be a quick wide receiver screen. Watch Rodgers take the snap. He's going to quickly get this ball to DK Metcalf, who I will say, I think DK Metcalf has been a great addition to this Steelers offense. I know the numbers aren't otherworldly, but he's done a lot of nice things. You see that. Really nice play by Metcalf to pick up, an explosive play on a wide receiver screen. That's not easy to do, and he's able to do it. And also this one, this is really where Metcalf shines is, 2nd and 9, you're at the 12-yard line. It's a one-on-one matchup right here. And again, this is why you trade a second-round pick for DK Metcalf and pay him $30 million. Rodgers takes a snap, is going to just quickly throw it, made this throw a million times, and he can still do that stuff very well, right? Catchable ball, and Metcalf catching it, right? This is why you get a number one receiver, because he can do this kind of things. And hey, Rodgers doing his job on these plays, right? Not every quarterback can do that. He can do that. Also, heading over here, let's give a shout out to Jaylen Warren, who is technically the leading receiver in this game. This play was a big part of it. Just a quick check down, or actually design screen towards him. Technically, him and Calvin Austin tied for most receiving yards, but since Warren had more catches, he gets credit for the leading receiver. You see here, though, this play doesn't look like it's going to go for anything. A couple of Patriots in the way. But watch Warren make a move, and he ends up picking up a first down, picks up 15 yards or so. That was a key play that was on the game-winning drive when the Steelers were able to score a touchdown. So, some nice screens and things of this nature. And I don't want to completely discredit Aaron Rodgers. He made some solid plays as well in this game. This play was probably the highlight of the game. It's a 3rd down and 10 zone blitz that the Patriots are going to be in right here. When Rodgers takes a snap, you're going to see that right here. Patriots player kind of getting to his spot, but the issue is the Steelers player is getting past the spot. Also, pressure's not there quickly enough that Rodgers still has pretty much a completely clean pocket. So when all of those things coincide, well, what does that mean? Well, look, really well-timed throw, beautifully accurate by Aaron Rodgers. Like, he still has this. And again, I am someone who was kind of the opinion that he got way too much criticism for his play with the Jets last year. I think he was playing pretty well with them. I also think he probably got a bit too much praise week 1 of this year after a lot of this type of stuff, schemed up stuff, and him just running the offense and the offense working against the bad Jets defense. But now let's go over here, because there have been some issues. And again, if you didn't watch this game, the Patriots turned the ball over 5 different times, including twice inside the opponent's 5-yard line. If they don't do that, they probably win. Who knows, right? You can never say they would win the game, because that changes how the Steelers play and all that stuff. But there's just some issues with Rodgers right now, and I think these are people aren't talking about it because the Steelers are winning, but I think once they get the better teams, I think people are going to talk about it more. You see right here, it's a man coverage concept. Rodgers takes a snap, nothing gets open right away, and this is just something that Rodgers' play style has always been. If a play doesn't work, he's going to get outside the pocket and try and make something happen, right? Very similar to how you see, I think Joe Burrow is a really good comparison with those two guys. Both of the one criticism they both get is, they hold on to the ball a bit too long and take some sacks, but the good outweighs the bad, and Rodgers obviously, in his heyday, a lot more arm talent than Joe Burrow. However, here, when he tries to get outside the pocket, he's not quite as explosive. Actually fumbles that football. Good thing for the Steelers, they recovered it. But that could have been a disaster if he just gave the Patriots the ball inside the 10-yard line right there. And again, it's just one of those things. This is his play style, because that's how he played for so many years. Some players can kind of adjust and change their play style as they get older. Peyton Manning actually did a great job the final season with the Broncos, kind of knowing his arm was shot and not trying for those deep shots he used to try earlier in his career. Not everyone can do that, though. I do think, though, if I'm on the Steelers coaching staff, this is the big thing I'm talking about. You got to just learn to start throwing these footballs away. And then also heading over here, this was the other key issue. And again, when you're not giving yourself a ton offensively in the positive direction, you have to at least protect the football, right? And this is a 3rd down and 10 situation. You have a receiver going over the middle. And for the life of me, I don't know what happens here. Watch how when Rodgers takes a snap, there is pressure. I'm assuming that disrupted things. He maybe throws this earlier than he wanted, but like, this is the read, is for this type of route, there isn't a setup route trying to take the linebacker who I've circled in black away from this play. There isn't. The hope is that you look over and you see there's a throwing lane in between the linebackers. That's the read for Rodgers, and for whatever reason, he just decides to throw it anyway. Again, these weren't mistakes Rodgers was making last season with the Jets, and he made one last week with the Steelers as well. Now he's doing this again. I believe the one last week was dropped, but it's still the same thing. Here, this one isn't dropped, and again, that's a big play. You're up 7 points, and you just gave the Patriots the ball. They get inside the red zone, score a touchdown, and now you're tied. These are mistakes that can't happen when you are more or less a game manager at this point in your career. A couple other issues that the Steelers just have to fix if this is going to be a playoff team, because playoffs are wide open with the AFC, right? You have kind of 6 teams that feel like they're probably playoff teams, right? Bills, Chargers, Colts all feel like playoff teams right now. Even though the Ravens, Chiefs, and Broncos are all 1-2, you still feel like they're probably going to end up in the postseason when it's all said and done. And who's the 7th team? Well, it could be the Steelers, right? But they have to fix these types of mistakes. It's this one, man coverage concept. You see the route that Rodgers is going to look towards, and rightfully so, can definitely get open right here. However, when Rodgers takes a snap, and again, this is 3rd and 8, you see him and his receiver, I think that might have just been a misthrow, actually, because A, Rodgers usually is very vocal when he feels his receiver has ran a wrong route. He did not do that on this play. And B, I don't know why you run a curl route there, and if you were running a curl route there, it wasn't going to be open. I think that was the correct route, and just either way, and it's just a misthrow, which is worse than if it's a communication thing. Either way, these are things you have to fix. Again, if you're going to be we're going to just run the offense as designed, you got to make these plays if you're going to be anything more than a bubble playoff team, right? And again, heading over here, like, there are some good plays, and you are getting some, solid football. I don't think you're going to get the highlight reel level plays Rodgers used to give you, but he is still doing a good job with this stuff where you have a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Rodgers takes a snap. Calvin Austin's going to run a really nice route, also adjust to this. It is a bit behind. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, because Rodgers will sometimes intentionally make throws like that. But either way, they're hitting on these plays, which are harder than just a typical game management play, right? But you need a bit more consistency, and you have to cut down on the turnovers. Like, the turnovers are a big thing. You can deal with some inconsistency in the game management stuff, but 2 turnover-worthy plays and bad ones as well, right? Those weren't just like, hey, defensive back made a great play. Those are bad turnover-worthy plays, and if he doesn't fix that in a hurry, this team is not going to be long for the, they might find a way to squeak into the playoffs at 9-7 the way they tend to do, but that's not the goal for this team, and honestly, that's certainly not even right now the floor for this team. So they have to cut down on these mistakes. But hey, luckily for them, their defense made more turnovers, and they were able to beat a not great Patriots team. Playing the Vikings in Dublin, gotta make sure you get that victory. That should be fun. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.